To create a sustainable and inclusive social system that promotes citizens' development in Nigeria, the Federal Executive Council FEC has approved funding for training and empowerment of adolescent girls in the country, while the establishment of a humanitarian and poverty alleviation trust fund to raise $5 billion annually has also received a nod. Addressing journalists at the end of the meeting are Ministers of Finance, Education, Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation, as well as Mining, speaking on the plan to implement the project in line with the renewed hope agenda of the Bola Tinubu-led administration. Correspondent Jide Olaniran has more on the story.
After addressing corporate Nigeria at the Nigerian Economic Summit earlier, the President presided over the 4th Federal Executive Council meeting, where a number of far-reaching decisions were taken in a bid to tackle the various challenges confronting the nation. Taking turns to speak to the media, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says federal government will proceed to receive the $3.5 billion zero-interest loan payable within 40 years with a 10-year moratorium, as foreign direct investment and over $10 billion inflow are expected to come into the economy.
What I alluded to was the multitude of sources which I felt would bring in $10 million by year end in total. And that is number one. We expect oil revenue from NNPC to increase. And finally, remittances. There's a figure of roughly $20 billion per annum that flows back to the country from Nigerians abroad and so on and so forth. That amount currently is being held offshore.
While speaking on the Adolescent Girls Project, the Minister of Education explains how funding will be approved for it, as well as the reform of education sector that his ministry is embarking on.
All girls should be out of school on grounds of poverty, and particularly at the foundation level of pre-tertiary education, the basic education level, secondary schools. And under that scheme, we'll be having close to 500 new schools across the country, especially in the participating states, in addition to providing a suitable environment for those young girls to continue their education and be supported, and then also teachers to be trained, to do what they are supposed to be doing and be motivated.
Tackling poverty and improving the life of a girl child is one of the policies the President is working on to make sure adequate funding is channeled towards it, as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation shed some light on it.
We hear about crises, the floods, and the rest of it. We need to be able to respond adequately as a country. Beyond this, the issue of poverty alleviation is one of the agendas of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his 8-point agenda, and we want to be able to tackle it headlong.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alaki, also says the federal government is ready to invest in technology to secure Nigerian mining space, as he identifies illegal foreign miners as major perpetrators of unlawful mining activities nationwide.
The Senate has resolved to mandate its Committee on Downstream Petroleum to investigate all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all state-owned refineries between 2010 and 2023. On Tuesday, the lawmakers frowned over what they perceived to be sabotage of the federal government's effort to resuscitate the nation's refineries in spite of 11.35 trillion naira spent on maintenance of the moribund refineries. The lawmakers also plan to ascertain progress on the ongoing works in all refineries in order to forestall waste and corruption and interrogate the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources.